Good morning to everyone at today's public hearing of the Vetting Commission established under Law Number 65 on the external evaluation of judges and candidates for the positions of judge on the Supreme Court of Justice. I'm Scott Bales, the chair of the commission, and I declare this session open. The hearing is being conducted under the Commission's rules of organization and functioning as part of the evaluation process. The subject of today's hearing is Ștefan Starciuc, a candidate for the position of a member on the Superior Council of Magistracy. The evaluation of Judge Starciuc was carried out pursuant to Law Number 26 of the year 2022 regarding certain measures for the selection of candidates for the position of members in the self-administrative bodies of judges and prosecutors. Judge Starciuc has been a judge at the Comrat Court of Appeal since 2015. He first became a judge in 2004 at the Superior Court. Judge Starciuc, welcome. Good morning. I'm joined by 5 other commission members. To my left is Vice Chair Andre Bevel and commission members Lavle Perling and Yuri Gatskin. To my right are commission members Lillian Ansu and William Brower. The commission is also assisted by members of its secretariat, and you may see also in the room some representatives of the media or the public. The photographer will be taking pictures briefly just at the start of the hearing. Hearing will be conducted with interpretation between Romanian and English. To allow for accurate interpretation, I ask everyone to speak clearly and slowly. Only one person should speak at a time. The proceedings are being recorded. The recordings of the Commission's public hearings generally will be available online at the Commission's website, www.vettingmd.eu, within 3 days after the hearing. I will start by briefly reviewing the evaluation process for Judge Starciuc. The Commission initiated its evaluation on March 15th of this year by notifying him by email and asking him to complete and return an ethics questionnaire and the financial declarations required by Law Number 26. Judge Starciuc returned the completed declarations and questionnaire on the 21st of March, and on the 25th of March, he returned an additional annex to the declarations and questionnaire. As part of evaluating a subject's ethical and financial integrity, the Commission also obtains information from many other sources, such as the National Integrity Authority, the State Fiscal Service, the General Inspector of the Border Police, other public institutions, financial institutions, and open sources. The Commission assesses the information it obtains for its relevance and reliability. On May 2nd of this year, the Commission asked Judge Starciuc to provide additional information by the 13th of May to clarify certain matters. He provided his answers and documents on the 14th of May. On the 25th of June 2024, the Commission asked him to provide additional information by the 4th of July to clarify certain matters. He provided his answers and documents by the stated deadline. On the 17th of July, the Commission asked Judge Starciuc to provide additional information by July 23rd to clarify certain matters. He provided his answers and documents on the stated deadline. On September 6th, 2024, we notified Judge Starciuc that the Commission in its investigation had identified some areas of doubt about his compliance with the ethical and financial criteria. We also invited him to attend today's hearing. On the 10th and 12th of September, Judge Starciuc asked that we postpone his hearing until the 19th of July because of travel abroad. Given his inability to attend the hearing on the originally noticed date, we agreed to reschedule the hearing to today. Judge Starciuc, let me first ask, do you wish to correct or amend any of the answers that you've previously provided to the Commission in response to its request for information? Is there anything that you think needs to be corrected at this point?
Yes, I will have some explanations, some additions to the information. Yes. I will have some additions. Well, maybe not additions, but additional explanations.
E bine? Da?
Okay, and there'll be an opportunity for us to ask questions and you to provide some more information. I just want to be sure, if there's anything that you've given us that you think now was incorrect and you want to change it, that's what I'm asking. Is there, in the answers that you've given us previously, is there anything that you think needs to be corrected because it was inaccurate?
Da. Puțin.
Yes, a little bit.
Okay. Well, what does that concern?
Deci, când am primit
When I received the first request for information, I didn't have a lot of time because I was also involved in different files, meetings, and
din acele date memorii care le aveam, deci am,
I used
de
the
exemplu, am
things that I recollected, and I said to the Commission that
aveam careva economii în
each end of the year I had some savings in
așa
cash.
informație am comunicat-o.
Well, I offered this information
Nu aveam așa economii, să zicem, majore.
because I didn't have huge savings, a few hundred lei. I didn't think I had to include them. But after I received the information that the Commission had access to, but I didn't have it, it's about 2011. In 2010, I had 2 loans, and this is included in the doubts. And I will offer some information about these loans. If it's okay to explain now, I will explain. As you can see, the loans were taken in October on the 15th and 21st from the same bank, the social bank, Banca Socială. Of course, when I offered the information, I did not have the information about what I had repaid. I didn't have the information because the institution was in the process of liquidation, so I did not have the possibility to go to the building of the institution. So I took this credit of 30,000 lei. I needed to purchase some goods for the house that I was building. I was about to move in it with my family. Obviously, my contact data were available. So I mentioned that this is the consumption credit. And then I was informed that there's the possibility to purchase these goods from a commercial institution, also through a credit in good conditions. And this is why I accepted the second credit also. And the amount wasn't used for the expenses. And I think this 20,000 was left for repaying the second credit. It's not in the same month because it was at the end of the year, but at the beginning of the next year, I repaid the credit. So at the end of that year, I had 25,000 as savings. This was income for 2011.
All right, just so I understand. So you repaid one of the loans before the end of 2010, and you had, as I understand what you said you had savings at the end of 2010 of 25,000 lei. Is that correct?
Eu creditul l-am achitat în 2011.
The credit was paid in 2011 at the beginning of the year in full. Just the first credit was according to the schedule in monthly installments, and I could not pay for it at the end of the year, but next year in February I paid for it. The amount
compromisul și care a fost indicat.
that was indicated in 2011. I think we need to deduct 25,000 out of it. This is the information.
Well, we may come back to that in some later questions, but first let me ask, with regard to the ethics questionnaire that you returned to the Commission on March 21st, 2024, are the answers in your ethics questionnaire still accurate as of today?
Da, deci nu s-a completat nimic, pentru că aici nu merge.
Yes, nothing happened, so I have nothing to add.
Okay. Well, Commission members will now ask some follow-up questions. We'll try to keep our questions short and to the point. We ask that your answers be short and to the point as well. And Commission member Yuri Gatskin will start with the questions.
Domnul Starciuc, bună dimineața.
Good morning, Mr. Starciuc. As you have seen in the information from the hearing notice, the Commission identified some doubts about the financial situation. Previously, the Commission found 5 years where there's a difference between the incomes and the expenses, 2011, 2012, 2013, 15, and 18. The full amount is approximately 300,000 lei. In the last round of questions, the third one, you challenged the calculations for the consumption, the CEP. You presented your own version. You offered some information, some screenshots made with a mobile phone, showing other data that you had calculated regarding the expenditures. Could you explain based on what information, what information did you identify in the database of the NBS that said that related to the CEP for your city, Cantemir, because this database does not offer the possibility to search by city. I did not have a lot of time back then, and on the site of the NBS, I found this consumption basket per regions. Cantemir is in the southern region. There is no information specifically for Cantemir, but for the southern region, we have the figures that I indicated. So this is the data from the official site. You also have information to the consumption basket per country. This is where I took the information from. In your answers, you mentioned that currently the state cannot say that these are mandatory, this consumption expenditure of the population in the quantum that was calculated. Yes, this was my position. It's clear that the Commission is using what is required by the law, but we also have point 37 from the annex that says that the Commission can take into account other calculations. So I consider that even in 2011, 3-person family with a 6-year-old child does not have the same expenses as for adults, where we can include alcohol and cigarettes. So I consider that what I received is enough to support my family. I had the salary that was enough. I have information from the NBS site stating that the average available income for a person, for a family with children, was 971 lei. My salary was a lot more than that. In your alternative calculations on the CEP, you used only 9 indicators of the 12. Yes, I excluded cigarettes and alcoholic beverages. What else? Restaurants or fitness or gyms that are not present in Cantemir.
le-am exclus două poziții, mă tem că nu.
I excluded
Dar el, chiar
two
dacă
positions,
erau acolo, nu se
but
direcționează.
even if I had included them, the difference wouldn't have been
Nu sunt
large.
fumător și
I don't
am lăsat
smoke,
că blocuri au fost.
and I don't use alcohol also. In the round of questions, you mentioned that the amounts calculated by the Commission for repaying some loans are created
Deja
artificially.
am dat explicații.
I've already explained this. I said artificially because I did not know the situation. I thought I could bring the contracts. I don't know the conditions.
N-am avut acces la date, de atât am spus.
You didn't have
artificial
access
și
to
deja
data.
am dat
No,
explicații.
this is why I said it was artificially.
Consultat aceste date.
And later, did you look at this data? We didn't have this. We only had the information on the repayment. So you presented the information on the reimbursement.
Și referitor la
And in
o
terms
întrebare care a fost
of another question,
s-a stabilit că au fost careva schimbări în răspunsul dumneavoastră.
there were some changes in your answers from the third round comparing to the second round. In the third round, the Commission asked you to fill in a table
La rambursarea
regarding the repayment of the loan of 150,000 lei from your brother, the one you used in 2010 for building materials, yes, for the building of the house.
s-a indicat în acel tabel.
And in that table, you mentioned that you repaid 120,000 lei to your brother in 2013. Could you please tell us why did you put this amount repaid in 2013? Because it created the impression that you really paid this money to your brother, but you later said that these 120,000 lei were used for buying the materials, but this was used for the real estate that was donated to your brother. So we had the annual declaration of incomes and assets. And when I declared that I took this money, well, this money was loaned. And I said, explained that I could not have doubled this amount to have this sale purchase contract and then donation. We didn't have such fields in the income declaration. So initially, you used the information in the income declaration. Yes, this money was borrowed. Why did you put in the table as a repayment? It was a liquidation of a debt through a donation. So the money was not repaid in cash or through transfer, but this was paid basically through the donation. The majority of the expenses for building the house were on you initially. Could you tell us what were the total costs for building the house? I mentioned 660, 700,000. I cannot say for sure, and I don't want to underestimate the amount and to say that nothing was spent. Thank you. Now we'll go through each year separately.
Referitor la anul 2011.
On 2011, you saw that according to the table, the Commission identified a difference of approximately 48,000 lei. You offered alternative calculations, and in these calculations you excluded some of the expenses calculated by the Commission consumption expenditures that were decreased, part of them,
Da.
and 10,000 that shouldn't have been included.
Referitor la rambursarea
And referring to the repayment of the amounts related to the credit.
Deci dacă a rămas acea sumă care comisie, deci consider că trebuie să fie
So,
implementat.
if there's the same amount remaining that was calculated by the Commission, we should take off out also the 25,000 because it was, I said it was a savings at the end of 2010, which I was not able to present the information at the beginning because I did not have the information. But how did you keep this money? In cash, yes, in cash, because I received the money in cash, not on my account.
la sfârșitul anului 2000.
So at the end of 2010, you had 25,000 that you later on used in February. Yes, I planned actually to use that money for repaying the loan. I told you
Dispuneți de careva documente?
about the second credit. Do you have some confirming documents or some supporting documents for repaying the loan in February 2011? I have the documents on 19,000 lei that was paid. And the installments, so it's kind of, it's February 2011, right? Yes.
Dacă chiar excludem acestea,
So if we exclude still these figures, we still have a difference between the inflows and outflows for that year. How can you explain that?
Poziția mea este pentru toate
Well,
poziții care-
my position is one for all the years.
Aveam salariu,
I had a salary and I was using what I had available. And plus, even though I'm living in a Cantemir town, I have a house on the ground. It's a dwelling. It's not an apartment. And I had some land plot, small one, that I used for different cultivations.
Comisia inițială a identificat
For the 2012, Commission has identified a difference of 40,000.
dumneavoastră la fel ați contestat.
You also have challenged this amount. You said that the consumption expenses were reduced and about 10,000 lei from the repayments for the loans.
Puteți explicați care este
Could you explain your reasons, your justifications to exclude these amounts from the difference? Well, maybe for 2011 it's not already valid. I explained to you for 2011, so maybe this information is not only referring to 2012. It is as it is.
referitor la anul 2013.
Now let's look at 2013. Commission initially has identified a difference of 141,000 lei. How can you explain? So we have there that amount of 120,000 lei. Yes, the difference includes the 120,000 lei that you paid to your brother, and yes, the 10,000 lei that was used as expenses for the child. Why did you declare this amount? I've declared actually for 2018, 2023, but not for the previous years. In the information it was requested from me, I've indicated that amount of 10,000 only for the years from 2018. But from 2011 till 2015, I've come already with the explanations, and according to notification, the Commission accepts my explanations. I did not give erroneous data.
Câteva confirmări privind returnarea
Some confirmations that would say that you repaid this loan to your brother.
careva documente.
Do you have documents related to this amount of 120,000? No, I don't have documents.
Numerat sau când
You repaid the money in cash, or it was, let's say, it was clear this debt actually, because I presented all the documents, the examination, that the property could be divided and he could have a part of it.
care a fost valoarea imobilului în
What was the value of the property indicated in the donation contract?
Nu l-am în față.
I could not tell you right
Nu
now. I
știu
don't
dacă
have it in
putea să vă
front of
era
me.
rugat.
I don't know if.
Cred la chitări care va taxe.
Well, actually, I think it was assessed because some taxes had to be paid, but I don't have a
Da,
contract.
înțeles.
It was a notary contract.
Taxe, impozite, privind
Some taxes or fees related to donations were applied to you? No, because the expenses were compensated from the sale of the apartment, and the money from the sale of the apartment was used for the billing of the house.
referitor la anul 2000.
Now let's talk about 2013.
Comisia
Initially, the Commission identified a difference, a small one,
e 8.000 de lei.
of
Puteți explica
8,000 lei finally.
fie
Could you explain what's the issue with this difference? Actually, it's the same. It's related to the consumption expenditure. Because I did not have some procurements that would affect the expenses. About the loan of 28,000 for the vacation, for the holiday. It was reimbursed that same year or later on?
Deci atunci am
I think later on. That year I had 40 years. My brothers were abroad,
informații care dau anterior.
so
Da.
I repaid it later on in 2014.
Este un că l-am luat.
I couldn't even have repaid it at that time because I took the loan in September, October, so I didn't have the possibility to pay it back. Going to the year 2015, the Commission has identified a difference of 25,000 lei. You've had expenses related to the CEP, repayments of the loans, and expenses for the child, school-related expenses, the 10,000 lei.
Nu, 10.000 s-au exclus.
10,000 were excluded actually by the Commission because this was in the common household. And 20,000 lei repayment of the loans of 905,000
Suma care a rămas restanță. Diferența de 120.
and difference 100
Deci,
and the difference for the
altele nu erau.
250.
Deja atunci erau și salarii.
This difference of 2,500 is that the salaries were increased a little bit and
Adică în 2015, în 2016.
referitor la anul 2018, în care
going now to the year 2018 when the Commission has identified an initial difference of 42,000 lei.
la fel în acest an aveți
That year, you've explained that you had some repayments for the loans taken from Moldova Grain Bank,
compensații pentru
a
parte de
compensation for the shared household with your ex-wife amounting to 100,000 lei, school-related expenses, holiday expenses, which led to a difference of 42,000 lei.
Deci aici, dacă pot să mai explic ceva.
I would like to explain something else here. In 2017, according to the information I submitted, I bought a car, so I went abroad to buy the car because I did not have possibility to buy it.
Mai costisitor în
Otherwise,
în
it
țară,
seemed more expensive in Moldova at that time.
parțial la fratele meu.
The money was taken partially from my brother,
În 2018.
and this amount had to be
Am în vedere
paid
deja
in
că
2018.
sunt
But
niște
as I
chestii
understood,
vreau să le expun.
where it is related to some personal issues, and finally I had these expenses you've mentioned, so I did not have the possibility to repay all the money to my the full amount to my brother,
A fost
and the 1,000 euro was repaid,
adică din
was not actually repaid by the
da, da.
extinguisher cleared.
Da,
dumneavoastră în 2018
So,
nu ați returnat aici.
in 2018, you've reimbursed almost all the amount.
El era
Suma de
atunci
39.000 a
20,
fost
da,
sau mai puțin?
nu, unea 20 mic, nu știu.
About 20,000 I paid to him.
Deci eu aveam datele care declarați de venituri. Eu dacă aveam, a fost așa o Poziția dumnealui a spus că
So
nu
it
se
was
face asta,
his
ea nu mai este
stance,
datorită.
this 1,000 euro that was excluded from the debt finally. He decided to exclude it.
Mulțumesc. Eu alt-
Deci fratele lui Tudor
Thank
care
you.
am
So
spus
my
că
brother
da.
is that person Tudor that we shared the house together, and he worked abroad and had better financial situation than myself. Thank you. No other questions?
Can I? Thank you. I would like to clarify some details. First of all, let's take the year 2011. Could you please tell us what was the whole amount of loan repayment of this year? Just say all the loans repayments together, because one is clear, both of us, that your salary from Kantemir Court, it was 56,704. Yeah. What about all the loan repayments in this year?
Ele sunt indicate deci în tabel.
This is indicated in a table, so the amounts are there. If we put them all together,
Aproximativ 38.
it's almost 38,000.
Da, ele, aceste două sume care sunt indicate.
It's those amounts indicated for 28, 19,000.
Okay, more than
and
half of your salary.
Dar eu deja am explicat, deci suma de
I already explained about this 19,421 was paid
Yeah.
from the amount that I had at the beginning of 2011.
My second question.
Ea n-a fost achitată de salariu.
It was not paid from the salary.
Yeah. My second question. Even when you take your calculation, we still see that in 2011, 2012, there are misbalance between income and expenses. Yes, less than by commission calculation, but still minus. Could you please explain us how it was possible to live so that your salary was smaller than expenses? Because there are some holidays and so on. We understand your calculation of SEP are different, but could you just shortly explain us how it was possible, how you lived?
Păi dacă cum poți trăiești, dacă n-ai careva
How
să
can
mai
you,
mult
when you don't have other sources than that you have?
decât nu mi-ajungeau.
I had enough actually. It was enough for me to go buy some bread, milk,
Un cașcaval.
some cheese. It was not such important expenses. I had some a land plot in my property, so that's my
Nu prea
explanation.
am luxul.
I was not living in luxurious conditions.
Am explicat deja.
And I've already explained that the CEP for the southern region is lower than the CEP for the country, because we have north region, central region, and these are different expenses.
Nimic poate să nege acest fapt.
We cannot deny this. But living in a small town like Cantemir with a few thousand inhabitants, with in an individual house, with these conditions, it was as it was living.
Thank you. And the last question. Is it correct that, in your opinion, the difference between your calculation and calculation of a commission comes from the SEP?
Da.
From difference. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Yes.
Do any of the other commission members have any additional questions? Judge Starciuc, would you like to say anything by way of a closing statement before we conclude the hearing?
Da, puțin o să nu vreau să...
Yes, just a short one. I would not like to take too much of your time.
Deci, conform regulamentului...
According to the regulation, I've noticed that there are 3 available positions or important positions according to law 25 to 52. Well, the assessment according to the law I fall under does not provide for
posibilități ca
the possibilities
conform coșului de consum să stabilească
that say that if according to CEP we have expenses more than incomes, to have a specific threshold that we need to reach to. As the Commission accepted, yes, at the beginning I had this 298,000. Well, the Commission accepted my explanation and we've excluded more than 160,000. And basically we have the final amount of 135,000. But according to my estimate, this would be still under 100,000, sorry. So, as I've understood from the notice for hearing, the Commission did not have serious areas of doubt that would prevent my passing of the assessment. So I suppose the doubts were mitigated. I've come with explanations for the amounts that were missing with some additions, and I think that looking at the point 37 in the annex, you maybe should look at the region where the applicant or the candidate lives, because many people like me might have individual house with some land plot around the house, so in order to mitigate those individual areas of doubt. Thank you for your understanding.
Well, Judge Starciuc, we will certainly consider the information you've provided, including your responses at today's hearing, and that will guide our determination whether we conclude you meet the criteria for ethical and financial integrity under law number 26. That brings us to the end of today's hearing. Judge, we appreciate your answers to our questions and the submissions you've otherwise made. We will strive to complete our evaluation decision and announce our conclusion as soon as possible. The Commission generally seeks to do so within a month after a subject's public hearing. Today's hearing is now closed. Good day to everyone. Thank you.
Da, mulțumim.
Thank you.